Let's go. Hello guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's get started. हेलो 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 कैसे हो आप लोग सब? बढ़िया. आज आने देते हैं पहले पब्लिक को. देना स्टार्ट. You guys can see me and hear me properly. Then reply me fast. Okay. 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 Let's get started. Here gold. Gold on a 4 hourly time frame. Let's see. Can you see that big up move when it will be started? And Wednesday 14th February. It will be started from 1990 level, and that up move will be ended somewhere around this time, like somewhere around 5 April. It means 1 month and one and 1 and 75 months, like 1 and 25 days. 1 month, 25 days. Hmm. And price will be at 238 level. Afterwards, let's see, that up move will be ended, and then after market will be started consolidate. Okay, the market will be consolidate at some on market will consolidate, and it went at least 2430 level. After that big up move, after that big up move on 12th of April, market will went to 4 to 8 level. After that, it again went down and created a big wake over here, right? Created a big wake, then after fall down little bit and came to 2356 level. Afterwards, that consolidate will be start. Then after big fall will become at 19 April, and market was at two. It means 2400 level, and it went down to at least 230. Can you just imagine that 1,000 pip movement in a single fucking month, a single fucking day? I'm sorry guys for a fucking word. Let's try to not repeat this again. After that, again consolidate will be started. Then after it's forming consolidate over here. And then after we draw a trend line over here, and then you can see that that trend line will be become a resistance level where a goal will be respect that resistance level. Then after once it breaks, it will be clearly up move that it will went to 2369 level. At 2310 level to went 2370. Then after again take a pullback and then goes up. It's creating higher high, and it went all time high at 20 May 2024. The price level will be 2445 level. Okay, like, can you just imagine that 100 pips in just a fraction of a minute, and you see that once take pullback, it will be clearly goes upside, then again take a pullback little bit, and then go upward. Then little bit consolidate for a 2 or 3 days, and then after you see that, and a 22 May, on a 22 May price market was at 2416 level and clearly falling down without any pullback, just back to back great candle, big red candle, and then it it was come at 2328 level, means 180 120 pips or somewhere around. Then after again consolidate, then again take a respect of this trend line, and then again pull, again fall, then consolidate, see that. So you just imagine that once and with consolidate, it clearly goes upward again the same market structure. The entire breakout structure. It went high, it forming higher highs and go upward and upward. And gold will be make a history. Gold went to 482 level. To
It's
482
almost 1
level
p.m. in Sydney, 11 a.m. in
at
Hong Kong. Welcome to Bloomberg
17
Markets
July.
Asia.
It
I'm
means
Paul Allen. Here are the top
11 days
stories.
before
Asian
gold
stocks
went to
slip as investors begin pulling back on the
482
AI frenzy.
level. You
SK
just
Hynix
imagine
down 20% from
it
this month's peak.
creating a history,
Renesas
and then
falling the
after
most
again
in
little bit
12
it
years.
pulls
The
back,
yen
and
rally gaining steam
people
as
think that
traders bet
again
a
gold will
turning
be
point is
went to
near.
50 level, but
Also ahead,
there
China's central
they
bank
are trapped.
unexpectedly cutting its one-year
Gold was
policy rate by
trapping there,
20 basis
and then
points.
after again
It's not enough, though, to boost sagging equity
big fall back
markets.
at
Plus, ANZ sacks and suspends
246 level
traders after
to
allegations of
again
misconduct
price will
as
be
pressure
came
builds to
at
clean up the bank's
2392
markets
level
division.
in a
All right,
single
plenty going
day.
on in
In a
markets
single
today.
day,
Let's get to Averill Hong in
market will be
Singapore for a
moved
closer look.
upside and
Averill.
downside. This is how
Absolutely,
forex
Paul.
is
A lot going on today,
going.
and the bleed in stocks is
After
bad.
that,
Look at
you
the
can
way
see
the
over
indices are
here.
faring. Chip
Let's
stocks
say
are
in
getting
a
hard hit,
smaller time
tracking
frame
their
view,
counterparts in the
what you
US
can see.
overnight. As one analyst put it best, that idea
Now
that investors are waking up that AI
market
spending
was
is more of an
closed
expense than the revenue
at
generator. But
2387
as you
level.
just
It
alluded to
means
earlier
this
as
level
well, the
market was closed,
Chinese
right?
stock markets are still getting hard
If
hit
we
despite that
remove
rate
this
cut coming through
thing
from the PBOC today. The Chinese yuan is
outside
weaker.
this
Chinese
thing,
bonds
right?
are catching a bid,
See
but
that
also going on the unwinding of the
triangle
carry
pattern.
trade. Look at the way the yen is faring against the greenback, going
Once a
about its
triangle
merry
pattern
way. It's
breaks, it
rallying,
started
almost
going upward.
reaching that
And
152
in
level
this
now. Let's take
area,
a closer look at what we're seeing in
2387
dollar
to
yen because it is
2390,
headed
that is
the
big,
Japanese
that is
currency for its
strong
best
enough
week since May.
resistance
That was
level.
when
If we
Japanese
see that,
authorities
like
intervene. And if you
uh,
look at the relative
on this
strength
week,
index,
let's
dollar
see,
yen does
we
look like
assume
it's
that
at
if
oversold levels,
market
and it
will
seems
be
like investors are
break
just
this
bracing for what's
level,
to come potentially
like
from the BOJ. Maybe we get
and
that
market
supersized
came
15 basis
market will
point
become
rate
at
hike. There's no
2390
clear
level,
catalyst for the moves in
then
the yen this week, but
wait
it
for the
looks
entry,
like
wait for
the
the buy side
anticipation
entry.
and that
Again
unwinding
market
of the
will
carry
give you
trade that's
opportunity.
prompting this momentum.
Once
Let's flip
it
the board and
breaks
talk through
first,
what we're seeing in China
then
as
it will
well.
come
The
pull back,
PBOC
it
today
will take
cutting the
pullback, and then you
1 year
can enter
policy
buy
loan
side
rate.
trend,
This
and
was unexpected
definitely
because it was set
2390
for
level
review
or
only in
2392 level
August, and it
you
comes
can
just
buy,
days after it
plan your
already
trade
cut
with
the
the buy position.
7-day reverse
And
repo. We saw the Chinese banks
minimum
following
it
suit
gives
with a
you
trim to the loan prime
140
rate. The cut
pips.
today on the
I
1 year rate
guarantee
actually
you
brings
guys
it
it will
closer to
went
the yield on the 10-year in
to
China. Paul.
403 level.
All right, thanks very much, Averill. Let's get reaction now to that
Right.
unexpected cuts
And
in China's one-year policy
on
rate. We're
Monday,
joined by
if
Desmond G.
buyers
Young,
are in
CIO of Equities and Multi-Asset
good
Investment
amount
at
of that
BEA
level,
Union
and
Investments.
if
So,
the market will be
Desmond, on the
break
news of
to
that cut,
403
we
level,
saw a modest pop in the
and
CSI
gold
300, but the downward trend
will be
has resumed. But
gold have
was this
started
really the
to go
problem for
to
China?
317
Money
level.
easing, lending conditions not easy
Afterward,
enough?
we will
Does this
think
change the
that
picture for you at all?
there is a one big
Hi, Paul. No,
in a
I
bigger
think
time
the
frame
the
we
rate cut is
can
good,
draw the trend
but the
line. We can
problem
see
is
the trend
actually
line,
the
and
pace of rate cut
after
is still very slow in
again
China,
you
right?
can see
If you
before
actually look at
this
the
trend line,
the pace of
it
rate cut,
respect the trend line.
it
It
actually took
can't
like
break this.
China
Gold
5
can't break this
years
trend
to
line.
cut
So
the
that's
rates by
why
95
we
pips,
just assume
and that
that
basically has
if
not been
gold went to
translate into the
for
real
170
economies.
level
At the
and
same
it
time,
went
people that actually
down
need
at
the most in
least
terms of like
for
lendings, borrowing,
239 level.
those would be property developers, there would be
In my
SME, those
perspective,
would be
if
local consumers.
gold have
They actually still
more
finding a hard
potential
time to
than it
borrow from the
went this
banks.
level
So the rate
also,
does
and
matter,
it
but it
break
doesn't really
to
matter that much in
and
China.
it's come 2350
So are you
level
putting
as
money
well.
to work in China at the moment? Because things are
There is a
certainly
high
cheap, but they
possibility just
are, of course,
because
cheap for a
market is
reason.
already up. Market was
Well,
already on
the
a
key things for China
all-time high,
is we
and
actually need to
afterwards
see
it
a
take
few
a
things to
pullback
happen,
and
right?
it's going to
First of all,
downward
we need
side.
to see
So
that they have
again,
effective
market
measures
have
to stimulate property
bullish
demand,
structure over
which
here
so far
on
has been
25
lagging.
July.
At
So
the same time, we
let's
need
see.
to see
But
that the
there is
Chinese
another chance over
people,
here that
in terms
if
of like job markets, in terms
this
of like incomes,
resistance
actually improve
gold
rather than
will not break
deteriorate.
this
And the third thing is actually
resistance
we need to
level,
see the
then
deflations kind of
we will
ending in
see that
China, which so
market
far is
will be
still not
definitely
happening.
go downward as well. But let's
I want to
see
talk about
if
one of the other big
this
stories
level
that's
can break with a
dominating the
good
action we're
big
seeing on markets
green
today. That is
candle
the
and wait for
tech-related
the second
sell-off.
pullback.
Long
Don't
term,
rush
this story
on
is still
fast
intact.
breakout
How long do you think
structure
this
just
correction is going to
because
run for?
you are
And do you
trapped
view this
over
pullback
here.
as a
There is
buying
a
opportunity?
breakout as well over
Well, like
this
you said, right,
price.
a lot of
So
things have
don't
happened to the
rush
market
there.
in the last few
Just
weeks.
uh,
First of all, we have
wait for the moment.
higher
Gold will
probabilities
give
that
you
Trump can
second
actually win the
opportunity. I'm
elections,
damn
and
sure.
then the market starting to
Gold will
price
give
in,
you.
what will be the impact
Okay.
on big techs, for examples. And then at the same
Let's
time, we
see.
have
We will.
the dollar yen
So that
why
is a
the
gold.
trade unwind. Which
Afterwards,
triggers a
let's
big
see
corrections
another
overnight.
pair over
And
here.
thirdly, we also expect the
DXY.
big tech
The
earnings,
combination
which
of
is probably
XAU
they'll be
and
fine, but they probably
XNU
cannot
and
trigger that kind of
gold.
excitement to the market
You can see
because
over
to
here
start with
that
the expectation has
we
been high
trade
for
on
7 quarters.
XAU.
The
XAU
expectations for
means gold
Magnificent 7
versus
earnings is
US
actually up
dollar. US dollar
26.6% for
means
7 quarters. So they're almost like
your
four
major
times
currency
the
pair,
average
right?
for the
US
S&P
dollar is a
X
major
Magnificent
currency pair.
Sevens. And if you
So
actually look into like
gold
Google's earnings, right, even
and
though they guide
DXY. They are
an increment
vice
of capex
versa.
1 billions,
If
overnight, but that
gold
is
will go
basically
up,
nothing, right,
then
comparing to the
definitely
Magnificent Sevens, which is already
DXY
expect
will
to
be
spend almost
going
like
downward.
150
And
billion
as you
capex
can
this
see
year and
that
next
on
year.
a 1 hour time frame, we see
One of
that
the key themes around this
DXY
sell-off
was
that's emerged from
consolidated
the
on the
discussions we've
same
been
price
having
range. So
today
it's a
is that there's a
ranging
real
market.
concern that the
So we will
spending
decide
on
that gold
AI
will go
is
little
not
bit
matched by the
up
revenues that it's
or
generating
else
yet. Do you
it
see that
take a
equation turning
reversal
around in
candle
the near
and it
future?
went this level, then definitely
I think in
gold
terms
will
of
be going
revenues
to
versus the spending is
403
actually
level.
that is
And
fine. For
if
example, the numbers that we get from Microsoft,
DXY
right,
will be going
in
to
terms of the
this level,
revenues
and
that they can actually
definitely you
generate
can
from
see
AI
that
comparing to
2417,
the AI
and there is
capex
a
that's
big
spent is
resistance
about
over here
seven
in
times,
DXY
right? So that ratio
103.76.
is
So
actually already
it will
much better
again
than
take a
how much they
pullback. So
actually spend on
definitely
the cloud
from
computings.
2417
And so
level,
far, the revenues
gold
generated
went
from
down
AI,
just
which is
because there is
the
a big
Copilot,
trend line over
is
here where
already
I
matching,
shown you
how
before that.
much they actually get from
See,
Assure in year sevens. So in terms of
see
revenue
that
generation, that is fine.
there is a
The
resistance
only
over here.
concern is
So there is a
just the
high chance
valuations and the earning
probability that the
expectations in the
gold
meantime.
will
But I believe those will be a
So what's
very
your
go
short-term
at
corrections.
least 2417 or else 2403
In
in
so
terms of
what's
between.
gold,
your
we're still
And
looking
allocation
afterwards
to
for
the
the
gold
high earning
went down
growth.
for sure.
Of course. So what's your allocation to the tech space at the moment, and your
Let's see
allocation more
another
broadly?
pair.
In general, we still overweight technologies. We still like the AI exposures. Of course, we have been trimming down a little bit of exposures, given
Bitcoin.
the
Let's
change of
see.
dynamics on Japanese yen, the rate cut, etc. But over these summers, I think it's actually good opportunities to accumulate the AI shares that we like.
You mentioned the yen there. We're, of course, seeing quite a lot of movement in
In
that
general,
in
we still
the
overweight
past few weeks,
technologies.
and
We
even
still
today
like it.
strengthening now to
This
152
pitted
against
the
the dollar.
Japanese currency for its
In
best
terms of
week
yen
since
strength,
May.
do you
That
see
was
that trend
when
continuing heading
Japanese
into the
authorities
BOJ meeting?
intervened. And if you look at the
Do you think this
relative
is
strength
signaling the end of
index,
some of these
dollar
FX
yen
carry
does
trades
We
look
we've been
like
seeing?
assume
it's
that
at
if
oversold levels,
market
and
I
it
will
think
seems
be
the
like investors
BOJ
are just
break this
actually
bracing for
level,
what's to
should take
come
this
potentially
let's
from
opportunity
the
to
BOJ.
raise
Maybe get
and
that
market
supersized
this
became
month.
15 basis
market will
point
become
rate
at
hike. There's
Periodically,
no
they have
clear
239.
kind of like
catalyst for the moves
failed in
in the
terms of
yen
Wait
this
for the
interventions,
week,
the yen at
but
wait
it
for the
1.160.
looks like
entry. Wait for the
But right
market
now, in
anticipation
terms
and
of
entry.
that
like the
Again,
unwinding
CPI,
market
of
will
the
give
carry
you
2.1%.
trade that's
opportunity.
prompting
In
this
terms of
momentum.
Once
Lots
service
of
it
the
core
bullish
breaks
performance
first,
we're seeing in
then
China as
it
inflations, those
will
are
well.
come.
pretty much on the right track. So I think they should actually take the opportunities to rate hike and strengthen the yen. Over the economies, we actually have been seeing some unexpected negative impact from
The
Pullback.
PBOC
It
today
will take a
cutting the
pullback, and then you
1-year
can enter
policy
a buy
loan
side
rate.
trend,
This
and
was unexpected
definitely
because it was set
2390
for
level
review
or
only in
2392 level.
August. And
Again, take a respect of this trend line, and then again pull, again fall, then consolidate. See that. So you just imagine that once and with consolidate, it clearly goes upward again. The same market structure, trend line breakout structure. It went high with forming higher highs and go upward and upward. And
the BOJ, maybe we get in
Two
China.
four
Paul.
zero three level.
All right, thanks very much, Avril. Let's get reaction now to that unexpected